Hello, all you crypto fans, and we have some excellent news, maybe not so excellent news for you. We're going to detail what's happening to CZ, what Binance's plans are for the future without CZ, and Terra Luna's pump and dump, among other things. Let's look at what's happening to CZ, the mighty champion of crypto who has been taken down by the DOJ. He now owes $50 billion and he is not allowed to leave the US, at least not as of now. The judge stayed that part of his ruling. He is out on a $175 million bail bond. That much is true, but he originally was ruled to be able to leave the US, but the judge stayed that part of the deal because the DOJ said that CZ would be at flight risk and he might not return to the United States for sentencing. But his lawyers are still appealing that decision, so it might get overturned. Usually on a bail bond, you have certain bail terms. Now, his bail terms are a lot more lenient than, let's say, SBF's bail terms. He was under house arrest. CZ's not under house arrest, but he has to stay within the U.S. The UAE does not have an extradition treaty with the United States. And right now, remember, because of the Israeli-Palestine situation and the American support for Israel, the diplomatic ties between the UAE or any Muslim country and the United States is not getting so great. So obviously, they want him in a country with an extradition treaty to the United States, or they just want him in the United States. So he is not he's not being able to go back to the UAE where his wife and kids are. So that is kind of a big deal. And realistically, his wife was a co-founder of Binance. That's kind of like how they got together, really. So he's probably going to have some influence in Binance, even though his bail condition says he won't really mess with any Binance business for 3 years. So they are kind of retracting part of CZ's bail bond, because they don't want him to basically run off. So he faces anywhere from a few months to as many as 10 years in prison. But he's waived his right to appeal for anything longer than 18 months. So I think the longest they can go for is a year and a half. But the case court filing did not actually mention any kind of jail time. It did mention the $50 million that he actually has to pay. His attorneys are going to argue that he's demonstrated his intent to take responsibility by coming to the U.S. and plead guilty in the first place. And because he's done that, they said he's not really a flight risk. Obviously, his wife and kids cannot relocate just for a couple of months. So he's going to be kind of away from them for some time. So he really wants to get back to the UAE, but I don't think the DOJ is going to be so nice. And what's in it for Binance right now? Well, Richard Tang is taken over, and he's posted his first blog piece. So he said, as I said on Twitter earlier, it's an honor with the deepest humility that I step into the role of Binance CEO, succeeding the visionary founder of this incredible company. Over the past 6 years, Binance has laid a foundation that has positioned itself for decades of growth and continued success. The problem is they owe about $8 billion right now, $4.3 billion to the DOJ and the CFTC, and then $4 billion to the OCC and other things. So if they can get past the hump of several $billion right now, I think they're going to be okay. They have over 160 million users. They are still the biggest exchange out there today. And some people are going to be are afraid that the Binance is now just going to be a tool to do KYC AML. I think they're going to have to do KYC AML way more now. This guy is much more regulatory compliant, and I don't really know how that will mess with Binance's user base, because Binance always had a way for people to get away with non-KYC AML, and if they truly start to implement that fully, they might definitely lose some users. So obviously, he's talking about Binance's challenges, how he's committed to Web3, basically how he's committed to the users, and how he takes his responsibility as custodian very easily. So the custodian part probably scares the United States banks, and that's probably one of the reasons they want to go after Binance, because they want to be the sole custodians of crypto, and they don't want a foreign company to be a custodian of crypto. He also talks about the proof of reserve system, how there's plenty of money in there, and how all the money is safe from prying eyes. So he does outline some good things, but realistically, it's about the business model of Binance. It's completely out of the US. Binance.us obviously still operates. And how much money can they actually make? Can they get over the hump of paying $8 billion? And can they maintain their reserves? So there's going to be a lot more collaborations with Binance now. But it looks like he's committed to keeping the course. That's probably one of the reasons they stepped out of the US, because the US regulations are just too tight for Binance. And it seems like the other countries are going to be way, way more friendly towards exchanges like Binance. I think they're going to be okay. Wouldn't buy BNB right now. But this Richard Tang guy, it seems like he's going to be more regulatory compliant than CZ ever was. And we'll see if that actually drives away users from Binance, because I think like the hopping around regulations was actually part of the big attraction for Binance itself in the past. If they don't have that, can they keep the users? Can they still be the world's biggest exchange? And the thing is, like, the crypto market hasn't really dumped a lot because of this, but I'm guessing Binance, because of the $8 billion fine to several organizations, they will have to dump some of their coins. So there could be somewhat of a dump in that way, but it does not seem to have impacted the crypto market all that much because there's a lot of new demand coming. So that's actually pretty good news. There was also a Terra Luna pump and dump. Especially for USTC. Now, Terra Luna itself, Luna Classic, by the way, is not like the Luna 2.0, but Luna Classic did pump about, like 20% or so. But USTC almost doubled in value from 4 cents to 7.5 cents before dumping back down. It was definitely a pump and dump. And some people think, especially in my chat, that it was initiated by Do Kwon, CZ, SBF, and all the usual players. But how is that? Many of them are in jail, or many of them are in court right now. So we don't really know quite how that happened. But there were perpetual contracts placed that don't have an expiry date. So it was mentioned that these trades all took place months before, and now we're hitting some benchmarks for these things. And maybe that's what's causing the Terra Luna pump and dump. That's definitely possible. I don't think LunaC has as much liquidity as it used to. And obviously, all these big players were basically part of Terra Luna's initial downfall. I don't really know about CZ, but he probably played futures and margins with Terra Luna as well. So I definitely wouldn't rule that out. If this is the case, if they have more perpetual futures contracts out there, it'll continue to be very volatile. So if you see LunaC at 4 cents and you see it go up to 7 or 8 cents, it's probably the best to sell and then wait for it to dump back to 4 cents. I don't see how you can get it back to $1. I mean, something with like LunaC is that like when the crypto market hyperpumps, it might actually get back up to $1 just because the collateral will raise in price when that happens. So LunaC might actually be a decent investment right now. I wouldn't do it myself because there's a very big chance it'll drop to 0, but you're looking at gaining 96 cents versus losing 4 cents. So it might actually be the risk, because when that collateral rises, I do think USTC will rise. I mean, all the other coins will rise as well. So like the risk and reward factor may not be that great if you compare it to the rest of the market, but there is a huge potential for rewards there because the Terra Luna people are definitely trying to repeg it to $1. And I don't think they're going to stop trying. So during the bull run, when all these prices go up, I'm guessing since the collateral value will go up, USTC's value will get maybe fairly close to $1. So you're looking at a 25x play for USTC. But I'm not really sure if a 25x would actually justify the risk of buying USTC right now. So basically, hold yourself accountable for your own money and take your own risks as you see fit. If you really believe in the LunaC ecosystem, go ahead. I'm not going to play that game, but that is your choice. Tornado Cash Coin has completely plummeted because it did depend on Binance, and Binance did delist the Torn token. As I said, Binance is going to be a lot more regulatory compliant now because Binance will be a lot more regulatory compliant now under its new CEO. So a lot of these coins that the US government doesn't like, I think they're going to delist. It dropped 56%. I don't know if that'll affect Tornado Cash, the service. Maybe that's what they use for their funding. If they can't have their funding, the washer might actually not do so well. The token plummeted from nearly $4 to $1.66. And of course, Binance says we periodically review each digital asset to make sure it comes in line with our guidelines. My guess is that Tornado Cash delisting was probably part of the settlement. That US is like, hey, you gotta we'll agree to this, but you gotta delist these coins Obviously, the US government does not like Tornado Cash, so it's probably one of those coins that Binance agreed to actually delist. The US government obviously hates Tornado Cash, all the mixing and washing. They basically hate anything that hides transactions, so I think they're going to be targeting these coins, not on the coins themselves, but on the exchanges, because they may not be able to get these coins. But if they can kill the liquidity to all these coins, they can literally kill these projects. I don't know if they can kill Tornado Cash altogether, and I don't really know how the coin actually affects Tornado Cash. I haven't really used Tornado Cash, but it is one of the ways that can kill off the financing for these projects. So you got to watch out. These coins the US or governments don't like, you might want to sell them right now for your own financial purposes and to protect yourself financially. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.